Senator Sanders, welcome back.
Good to be with you, Tom.
The talk of the town, of course, is the twin events of the debt ceiling being bumped up against and an effort to balance the budget or reduce the budget deficit. You're in the thick of this, being on the Budget Committee. What's going on?
Well, you're absolutely right. My phones in my office in Vermont and here in Washington are kind of bouncing off the hook that is on people's minds. I think virtually everybody except some right-wing extremists in the U.S. House of Representatives understand that if we default in an economy which is as fragile as it is right now, it will cause real harm for virtually everybody in this country, including small business, including Wall Street, including Social Security recipients. And people are working very hard right now to make sure that that default does not take place. I've just been informed, I just came from a caucus meeting. There'll be a vote at, I guess, 1 o'clock in the morning on Sunday morning to try to move this process along to see if it is at all possible to bring together some kind of bipartisan approach here in the Senate and demand that the House of Representatives in one way or another goes along with that. Tom, in the midst of all of this, we are in a very unusual moment in American history. I can't remember in my lifetime a time in which people are more demoralized, are more confused, are more upset, more angry. We have an economy which is clearly in the tanks. Unemployment is at about 16% if you include those people who have given up looking for work. Real wages have gone down for many, many millions of people. The gap between the very, very rich and everybody else has grown wider. More and more people are losing their health insurance. People are losing their homes. And people are looking to Washington, looking to the capital of this country for solutions. Not only how you deal with this deficit situation, which is important, but how you go forward in creating the millions and millions of jobs that we desperately need. Our infrastructure is collapsing. Public transportation is collapsing. Energy system remains wedded into the 19th century in some respects. We can create millions and millions of jobs by rebuilding our roads, our bridges, our water systems. We can transform our energy system. We can begin the process of changing our trade policies and having corporations invest in this country rather than China. And people are not seeing any of that happening. And what they're seeing is this country verging towards a default which would be so bad. In the midst of that, I do want to give you some positive news. Mm-hmm. Yesterday, I spent a couple of hours along with other senators at a meeting with the leaders of virtually every major union in America, including the president of the AFL-CIO, Rich Trumka. And I thought actually it was a pretty productive meeting. I think there is a growing understanding that the basic economic and political solutions facing our country are not going to be solved here in D.C. when you have one side that simply says no, 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 refuses to make any kinds of compromises, and the other side saying, well, okay, today I'll give you my shirt. Oh, that's not enough. Well, tomorrow I'll give you my pants. That's not enough. Okay, well, I'm prepared to give you my shoes. That's not enough. And that at the end of the day, this is going to have to be solved politically, and we see some really good examples of what has to be done in states like Wisconsin and Ohio, where people are saying enough is enough. We are going to take on right-wing extremism at the grassroots level, and we're going to beat them. And certainly on August 9th, there'll be recall elections in Wisconsin. We hope our friends there win. But they have done already an extraordinary job in fighting back and putting the right-wing Republicans on the defensive. Sadly, we haven't seen that here in D.C. And I want everybody to know this because it's important to point out. You got two proposals that people are looking at now, the Boehner proposal, the Reid proposal. The Reid deficit reduction proposal is a bad proposal. It will call for some $900 billion in cuts in discretionary spending. That is education, that is healthcare programs, that is nutrition, that's environmental protection, that's the needs of our elderly and our children. And that is the better of the two proposals that are out there, because at least It will not bring the circus back 4 months from now or 5 months from now to continue to paralyze what goes on here. What Boehner wants to do is also make massive cuts, and then what he wants to do is limit the debt ceiling extension for about 6 months so that we continue talking about this stuff and get held hostage again. The bad news, which has not gotten a lot of publicity in both of those proposals, is the establishment of a 12-person commission, 6 Democrats, 6 Republicans. I fear very much that while the Reid proposal today does not include cuts in Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, something that I have fought for very, very hard to protect those programs, especially Social Security, but also Medicare and Medicaid. Social Security, as we've talked about a million times, has not contributed 1 nickel to the deficit. It is funded by the payroll tax, not the U.S. Treasury, can pay out every benefit owed to every eligible American for the next 25 years. But there are people, including the president, talking about cuts in Social Security. So Reid's proposal does not do that. Boehner's proposal opens that makes that more likely. But in both proposals, you'll have a 12-person commission, and I fear very much that we could be looking at that point in cuts in Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. Also importantly, where the Democrats have made major, major concessions is both of these proposals, Reid and Boehner, do not include 1 penny of increased revenue from the wealthiest people in this country or the largest corporations. Tom, you may have noticed just the other day, another poll, and this is just a part of a long list of polls, came out, Washington Post. People were asked about deficit reduction. The approach that got the most support, 72% of the people said we should ask those folks making $250,000 a year or more to pay more in taxes. 72%. But there will not be 1 penny of increased tax revenue coming from the wealthy in either the Reid proposal or the Boehner proposal. People understand that you have corporations like General Electric, ExxonMobil, many other huge corporations making billions of dollars in profits, in some cases not paying 1 penny in federal income tax. They will not be asked in either of these proposals to pay anything in taxes. So what you have seen is right-wing extremism moving the entire dialogue to the right. You've seen the Democrats give up this, give up that, give up that, and we are in a very, very untenable position at this moment. Again, what I believe the solution is to fight back as strongly as we can right now, make as few concessions as we possibly can, and let the American people decide what the future of this country is in terms of economics. Do we ask the people on top, who are doing phenomenally well while their tax rates, the effective tax rates have gone down, to pay more? Do we ask large corporations to start paying their fair share of taxes when they make billions of profits? Do we do away with these tax havens in the Cayman Islands? Or do we go and put enormous pressure on the middle class and working class who are already hurting by severe cuts? That's the debate that has to take place.
Absolutely.